Why did the green bean get promoted? Because it was outstanding in its field. Today on the Adobe Ring Ranch, we'll be talking about green beans. Hello and welcome back. One of the first crops that I planted when we first arrived at the ranch as full-time residents, I wanted to get started as early as possible in the garden, and the temperatures, of course, here when we arrived were much warmer than they should have been. Regardless, I was itching to get started, and the green beans were first on my agenda. I did grow them from seed. They went directly into my raised beds. I did not do them as plant starts. So I would like to just give you a update on how they're doing, and hopefully in another 2 weeks or so, I will be harvesting. How exciting is that? Okay, so here's my yellow raised bed here. It's got the normal soil in it with some added amendments like my normal cow manure. I believe I threw in a handful of 10-10-10 fertilizer as well. But like I said, I had started these back in February. It was more towards the end of February. And due to the warm temperatures, they sprouted like within a week. So Hugh was extremely excited. Another week after that, we experienced 2 nights in the lower 40s. And if anyone's ever grown green beans before, they know that green beans do not like cold weather. So what had happened was that some of the first leaves that I did get on my plants did get knocked back a little bit, but thankfully the temperatures did rebound and the plants were not totally damaged, and they had rebounded nicely and sent off some really nice leaves and got going like within another week. So it seems like things here in the desert grow overnight. I can't really show you how fast things grow. You have to experience it yourself here in the desert. But regardless, I planted 2 varieties of beans here. I did a Derby and a Blue Lake variety. This bed had been divided in half, and I did half Derby and half Blue Lake, because I like to try 2 back-to-back varieties to see which ones do better. I also stuck in some stakes and I wrapped some string around it. Bush beans usually don't require any kind of staking. I am doing it, however, because the wind here in the desert can be fierce. Sometimes in the afternoon, the wind will pick up and blow these plants all over the place. So I figured, just as a little added protection for the plants so they didn't get broken or snapped, I put up the strings. It took me like 2-3 minutes to do it, so it's just an insurance policy. So as you can see on the left here, I actually do have some flowers started. So with any luck, within a week or 2, I should be getting some beans. Actually, if you look over by my finger, this blossom is falling off, and there is a new green bean just starting there. So how exciting is that? I do plant the bush varieties here in the desert. Again, the reason for that is that the wind scares me with my crops. I understand that here in Texas, a lot of people do plant the pole beans, which are more heat tolerant, but I can't do it because I think this wind is going to just destroy my plants, and that would be a heartbreaker. Now, the difference between the bush beans and the pole beans is that the pole beans will produce beans all summer long, where the bush beans will produce a crop of beans, usually a whole bunch at one time, and then they kind of peter out, and they are done for the season. So in order for me to deal with this shortage of green beans, every maybe 3 weeks, every 4 weeks possibly, if I remember, I plant a second crop of green beans elsewhere in the garden, so that when these ones tire out, the new ones are coming on strong and getting ready to give me some green beans. Again, I could blanch and freeze these. I find these to be almost like candy. I like to walk into the garden and pick a handful and just eat them as I'm watering or checking out the plant situation. But I could technically take a bumper crop and freeze them if I wanted to. Again, throwing a whole bunch into a saute pan with some butter, olive oil, garlic, salt, hot pepper flakes. I think I may even have a video on that posted on this YouTube channel. It is delicious, and even if I make a double batch, I can put the second batch or the second half of the batch in the refrigerator and enjoy them, a couple of nights down the road. So I'm not too concerned about overages. And again, I'd rather have everything in small quantity. And this is an experimental year for me. I want to see which plants grow best, which vegetables produce the best here. For me, I know every year will be different, but I need to get some sort of gauge on how things are going, and what I can get away with and what I can't get away with. I'm going to circle back around here. I have my hot pepper bed, and I had some space between some plants. Like I had the honeydew melon growing over here. I popped in a zinnia, and I had this little space over here. So what I had done was I popped in 2 green bean seeds on the side here. So as you can see, they're already up and growing. So these will replace the main crop that I planted a couple of weeks ago. I've also planted a few more green beans just about a week ago between my pepper cages. So in between each pepper cage, I stuck in, I think, 2 green bean seeds. So the peppers are going to take a little bit to get going. The green beans will sprout, grow up, and will help shade out some of the pepper plants, and will produce my green beans, and then I tear them out of the ground, and that gives the peppers all the space they need to get going. It's also planted amongst my watermelon plants here as well. So basically what I'm trying to do is get as much bang for the buck out of my growing beds here. Space is limited. I have a huge roster of vegetables that I do want to grow, and I am growing. I'm just seeing what will be compatible, what will shade each other out, help with sun scorching of the fruits, what will crawl and cover up the ground and hold in moisture. And the green beans, I think once they sprout up in this bed, will help shade the ground out a little bit more and hold in more of that moisture. So that is pretty much a wrap on the green beans. I do, like I said, I do enjoy my green beans. I just don't have the space to do a huge crop and can/freeze them. I'd rather have everything in small quantities so I can enjoy them and again test everything out to see which ones do best. I just remembered that underneath my early grill tomato, my cilantro was taking forever to pop up, and I thought, okay, well, they're not going to come up. It's getting too warm. I plugged in another string bean here and another one over here, and guess what happened? The green beans came up, and another day or two later, so did my cilantro. So in this little area, I will get a few green beans, and I should get a few cilantro leaves out of this before the heat kicks in. I don't need a lot of cilantro. Here's another batch over on this side of cilantro. And I just noticed that there's a little green bean popping up over here by my finger. So this one's a little bit late. As you can see, the other two are at least 5-6 days ahead of the other one. But again, that's okay. It'll just delay my harvest, and it'll spread out the green beans. So for now, that's a wrap on the green beans, and I'll show you the harvest day as it gets closer. Have a great day, everybody.